Hi folks, it's Andy. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I've got loads of questions to get to today in today's Kendo rant. Let's jump right to them in a moment, but don't forget, I'm getting sick of saying this now, but like, share and subscribe, you know, all that sort of stuff. Join the Kendo Show Early Access group because that's where most of these questions are from. There's a link in the description down below. And most importantly, if this channel brings you any value whatsoever, whether you like it, these Kendo rant videos, if you like Kendo Zero to Shodan or the other instructional videos I put out there, or maybe it's the analysis videos, the stroke or sort of translation videos that I do. I put one out just the other day, earlier this week. Then don't forget to do your shopping at KendoStar.com. That's my website, of course. Sells fantastic, amazing, wonderful Kendo equipment. And it is exactly what pays for this channel. So it's two birds with one stone there. You get amazing, the best Kendo equipment in the world. And if you don't believe me, check our Trustpilot rating with the best rated site on the internet. And you get this wonderful channel. So yeah, it's a no-brainer. Get to KendoStar.com. So let's get into these questions. First one, what is your tokuiwaza? So tokuiwaza is your best or favorite technique. That's what tokuiwaza means. It means the technique, your sort of go-to technique. I don't know. Back in the day when I was like, in the first few years I was like competing, like as a national team member, it was definitely kote. I scored more kote than any other waza. I kind of relied on it too much, really, to the extent where my coach at the time even nicknamed me kote machine. So yeah, kote was my thing. To some extent, you know, I still do go for the kote, especially if I'm in a pinch. I've got quite a good. I'm quite good at unlocking ways to get kote. But more recently, oh, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm really good at any of them, to be fair. So yeah, maybe men. I don't know. Okay, next one. Red Himo. Are they for children or for everyone? Red Himo, they're mainly for children. But you don't have to, you know, if you like them, yeah, sure. It depends on your dojo. If your dojo's happy for you to wear them, then go ahead and wear them. Most places I've seen use red himo have been either children, and I have seen university students wear them actually, like during Kangeiko, which is the cold weather, very hard practice where like for a week straight every morning or something they start at like 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. or something, and they have really intense hard practice, and they use different himo to easily recognize the different year groups. Usually that's what the colored himo are for, but I have seen people wear them decoratively as well, adults, not just kids. So yeah, if you like them, then yeah, go ahead. Next one, what is the purpose of matawari suburi? And are they good to improve kendo? I asked because I can do it in a low ceiling room. And also the same question about sonkyo suburi. And are they real suburi or just modern inventions? So matawari suburi is where you stand in like a wide sort of horse riding stance. There's two ways of doing it. You can either, I know I'm not in the shot, but you raise, and as you cut, you sort of squat down this way like that, or you can stay in the squat as you do your suburi, okay? Both of those are often called matawari suburi or koshiwari suburi. And yes, they're good to improve kendo, because they're really good at building up two things, balance and muscles in your legs, okay? But it's really easy to do them wrong, all right? What you don't want to do is lean forward like this as you're doing it. I know I'm not in the shot. I'll try and do another video about it that's in more detail. But like where you're leaning forward like this, see there's a lot of people with their sort of backside sticking out. That's not going to help you kendo at all. It's going to make it worse. So you have to make sure that if you do it, even if you don't go down super far, make sure that your back's straight and your shoulders are over your hips. Okay, your shoulders are over your hips as you're practicing it. You have to do it with good posture. And it will definitely, yeah, it will help your kendo, but it's not the sort of suburi that you can do like 30 times a week, like 30 times once a week, and it's okay. If you're going to do it to help your kendo, you need to do, let's say 30 or 50 times every day. Okay, if you do it like 50 times a day, then yeah, it's like kind of, it's physical training as well as kendo training, that kind of suburi. And in terms of sonkyo suburi is where you go into sonkyo and you do suburi from sonkyo. Yeah, that's totally real suburi. We used to do that at the kids club I used to teach at in Japan. It's really good for developing, again, posture, because you have to keep your balance as you're doing the Sous Vide and Sonkyo. And you have to have good posture, again, with your shoulders over your hips, not leaning forward or backwards, which is what lots of people do. So you have to go down to Sonkyo and do like 20 times Sous Vide in Sonkyo. It's a good practice for doing proper Sonkyo and having good posture. Next one, any ideas to keep new members interested in Kendo? Because of the damn virus, we can't have regular training. So maybe some thoughts on this. So yeah, obviously it's a difficult time at the minute with the coronavirus outbreak. Most of us aren't able to get to Kendo. And if we've got new people, new members of the dojo, yeah, I know it's hard to get them or keep them interested in Kendo. I do understand that. The best way is to, try and keep interactive with your Facebook pages and stuff like that. I know of clubs that are still in contact with their members, even their newer members, like with WhatsApp groups or Facebook groups and stuff like that. A good friend of mine that's a teacher in another country, I'm not going to locate them, but a very good friend of mine who I speak with quite often, they've instigated a program with a WhatsApp group where where they would normally have their weekly training or their regular training, they have a conversation via WhatsApp with led by the teacher, and sometimes setting them projects as well, like, go away and research this waza, and then you can come back and present it to us when we're back at the club and stuff like that. I think that's a really good way of keeping everybody involved. Stuff like that, I think, is really good. And of course, I know there's lots of people doing like conference call training sessions. I really think that's a great idea. And if you've got new members that are willing to get involved in that as well, just to keep that dojo together, I definitely think that's a great idea. To keep that sort of spirit, and keep them practicing. In fact, it's really good, especially with beginners, because what you can do is you can practice together with them. You could do, say, like some Sous Vide. You could run through the Sous Vide menu that I put out in the video the other day. And if you're a senior, you can see if they're doing it right or wrong. So it's really dangerous for beginners to do loads of Sous Vide on their own, unsupervised, because they'll start to learn bad habits. So you can make sure you can check that they are doing it right. And if you're unsure what those things that you need to look out for are, I put a video up yesterday, I think, about points to look out for when doing Sous Vide at home. Next one, is there any exercise for small kote kuts? Oh, sorry, there is an exercise for small kote kuts on a cushion, which is an exercise that can be done in the house with limited space. Do you have any more exercises that you can do at home to build the wrists and help with tenuichi and sae? So tenuichi is the kind of snap of the wrist and hand as you make the strike that gives sae. Sae is that kind of crisp pop that you get when you make a solid, correct strike. So I think the exercise you're talking about with regards to the cushion, doing the kotes, you put a cushion down and you sort of practice small kote kuts. I think that's a really good way of practicing it, actually. You could put this, you don't have to do it with kote, you could do it with men too, right? You could put the cushion, say, on the sofa even, you sit down on the floor, and if it's roughly about the height of your head, you don't have to move your feet, right? You could be sat down, so your head's about the same height as the cushion. You could practice striking on the cushion itself. I think that would be a good idea too. Just focus on getting that snap and that tenuichi. You could practice both with small strikes and with large strikes as well. Okay. So yeah, I've got next episode of Zero to Shodan is going to talk about developing tenuichi as well. So look out for that too. Right, next one. I was recently told that I wear my men like a beginner, the same way I've been wearing it since 1996. So how should I be wearing it as I tie it low? And if I tie it higher, it seems to come off. Any words of wisdom? Okay, yeah, sure. Let me grab a men. Oof, okay, I'm back. So I've got a men here. This is one of the Vanguard original Vanguard men's that I use for my regular training when it's on. So the place where you need to tie the men, all right? See, on the mengane, the grill, one of these bars is slightly wider. That's called the monomi. That's the one that needs to line up with your eyes. And when you tie the men, the knot should be at about the same height as that. All right. Now, I know you mentioned about you were tying it too low and you've been doing that since 1996. But even back in the day, you were supposed to tie it this way. All right. It's less people were as concerned about it as they are now because there was less media available to sort of spread the word of how to do it. But if I show pictures of some of the classic photos of classic images of senseis back in the day, they were doing it like that as well. Right. So what you need to do is you need to get it so that the knot comes to about the height of your eyes or the monomi, all right? And if what you can't do is rely on the shape of your head, all right? Because for the most part, like for myself, for example, right, my head sort of curves back round here, which is about the height of where I need to do it, all right? It curves back down here. So if I rely on this shape to stop the men coming up here, it's tied too low. I have to tie it above where it curves down back to the base, back to my spine there, you know what I mean? The base of my skull there. I have to tie it here above that. So I have to, otherwise, like I say, it's too low. So what I sometimes have to do is sometimes it slips down there. So as I tie it, I tie it nice and tight, and then I'll move the knot back up to where it's supposed to be. All right. But I've got to make sure that I've tied it tight enough so that it doesn't slip either upwards or downwards. All right. Because ideally, what you want to do is I actually tie it probably something like that. See, it's about level like that. And what you can do as well is you can the wings of the men here, the men daddy, you can pull them that way as well. All right, and that'll bring it up a little bit too. All right, so that it is making a nice triangle here. The himo, yeah, this should make a sort of semi-equilateral triangle. It's not perfect, all right. No one's getting a protractor out, but it's kind of, it looks like a nice thing. If it's not that way, it's not a right angle triangle, all right. Getting all geometric, but yeah, that's where you have to tie it. Okay, that's the correct way. Okay, so that when you're wearing it, the men daddy make this nice shape here and here, and they properly protect your shoulders. It kind of looks like the silhouette of Mount Fuji. That's the idea, all right? So it should be like that, okay? You shouldn't have it tied too low like that. Okay, that's not right. Okay, that's what they call taco men. Taco is a octopus because it looks like a cartoon octopus, right? That's not how you want it to be, okay? It has to be nice, beautiful shape this way, okay? Hope that helps. Okay, next one. Are coloured border parts accepted in World Kendo, or are they a lack of reiho? Things like red himo, white keikogi, pink tsuba with pictures on and stuff. So I talked about red himo already. White keikogi, yep, you're free to wear them. None of this stuff is bad reiho. None of it, all right? Pink tsuru. If you want to use pink tsuru, you're more than welcome to use pink tsuru. There's nothing prohibiting you from using pink tsuru. There's a sort of misquoted rule from Japan that you're not allowed to use coloured tsuru except for white and yellow. That's incorrect. Okay, it's not a rule. Okay, that rule exists in Japan for junior high school students only, for specific tournaments that are administrated by the Junior High School Sports Federation. It's not an All Japan Kendo Federation rule. You're perfectly welcome to use pink tsuru or red tsuru or black tsuru or whatever you want, okay? It is not a rule that you can't use on any colour other than white or yellow, okay? It's an often misquoted rule. The tsuba with pictures, it's the same thing. You can use them. It's better not to, they say. But again, there's nothing in the rules about it. Obviously, you can't have anything that's like offensive or anything with. It's best not to have anything with writing on, even if it's Japanese writing. It's probably best not to, and you know, just in case. But you know, there are ones with pictures on. Like we've got some on KendoStar with like sakura patterns or tombow designs and stuff. You're free to use them. Again, some of them come with a sticker on the back that it says in Japanese for the official Shiai. You should use it the opposite way and the brown on the back. But again, the only rule about that is for the junior high school students in Japan. You're free to do that. It's a bit like the black membuchi, the black and black. There's a myth that isn't allowed in Shiai. The only ruling on that again comes from not the All Japan. It's the All Japan Junior High School Sports Federation that banned that. That's the only place that you're not allowed to use it officially. You're free to use the full black membuchi or the colored suru or the colored chichikawa or the colored tsukagawa on the shinai. You're free to use colored tsuba, colored door. Of course, anyone that tells you that it's like flashy to wear a different colored door than black doesn't get it. So that's not true either. You're allowed to wear that sort of stuff as well. Okay. There's plenty of people in Japan that do that. Nobody bats an eyelid to it. It's totally up to you. Next one. Any training resources or tips for quarantine practice menus besides Sous Vide? What type of workouts like HIIT? I think that's high intensity interval training or something like that, is it? Or bodyweight exercises that might be good for keeping in shape whilst we can't go to the dojo. I'm definitely the wrong person to ask for that. Okay, I can only tell you about Kendo. I don't know anything about HIIT or whatever. I'm sure if you put anything that's going to keep you fit, anything that's going to be a general overall workout for your body can't do you any harm. All right. I recommend doing that. Okay. I'd recommend you did that rather than going out and doing 5,000 Sous Vide. Actually, keep the Sous Vide, do the Sous Vide, but don't do 1,000,000 or 5,000 or whatever. Do 100 or 200. Just follow the video I did the other day. That's enough Sous Vide for one day for the most part, frankly, or for one session, shall we say. You could do that twice a day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon. That'd be cool. But don't sit down and burn through 1,000. Do something like a half an hour, 20 minutes of Sous Vide like I did in the video. And then, get on YouTube, do some sort of circuit training or high intensity and a HIIT, whatever it is. There must be loads on there, right? Loads on YouTube, right? Of that sort of thing. So get on there and then do something like that to keep yourself sort of physically in shape. I definitely think that's the best way to go. Or go for a run. Do you have a technique I could use so my arms don't go down too far before striking men when doing Sous Vide? It's okay doing jogi buddy, but not regular Sous Vide. I'm not entirely sure exactly what you mean by your arms going down too far before doing men, but it's gonna be something that is gonna get better with practice, but correct practice. All right. So get onto the Sous Vide video that I've been plugging about 10 times now in this video. I'll put a link to it in the description, the Sous Vide video that I did of how, the Sous Vide along, I think I called it. Get onto that, follow that, listen to the advice that I give in that video and try to focus on those points. Also watch the other video that I put out yesterday, the tips for doing Sous Vide at home, and think about those points while doing it as well. Keep those in your mind. Don't do too much. Just do the menu that I've put out on the video. Just do that once or twice a day. That's enough for one session. And if you focus on those points, then that sort of problem will start to iron itself out. All right. I've had a few people mention about the video as well. This is not a question, but a couple of people about the Sous Vide video that I put up, the menu video, saying, can we have a shorter version with the advice bits cut out? No, you can't. The reason for that is the advice parts are the important parts. It's not about the swinging of the shinai. That's important. Swing the shinai along with me in the video. Stop when I stop. Listen to what I'm saying, and then apply what I've said to the next set. All right. Those spoken parts are the important parts of that video, so I'm not going to cut them out. If I was to cut anything out, I'd cut out the swinging of the Shiai bit, but I'm not going to cut either. All right? Right. Next one. How do you or should you fight in tournaments versus regular training and practice? Is it different or not different? Well, yeah, of course it's different, all right? Because the purpose is different. The goal is different. When I'm doing Jigeko or Keiko at the dojo, it's not the same mindset. I don't have the same goal in mind as I do with tournaments or Shiai, all right? Keiko or Jigeko is training. That's what it kind of means, all right? That's practice. I'm trying to polish my technique, trying to polish my seme, try to figure out how to execute the waza and seize the right opportunity. That's what I'm doing. Of course, if we do Ippon Shobu, then I can get more competitive. But Shiai is different. Okay, yes, I try to take everything that I've practiced and polished all those times in the dojo and I put it to the test. That's what Shiai is. It's a test. That's what it means. And I go in there with a different approach. I'm not trying to perfect my technique in the Shiai. I'm not trying to practice something or do anything like this or demonstrate something or help my opponent do something better. Yeah, I'm trying to win. And try to put my kendo to the test on the line against someone else who's doing the same to see who can come out on top and to see where I need to work and to go back, what I need to take back to the dojo and apply to the Keiko. So it's a different mindset, okay? It's not different kendo though, okay? So it's wrong to say that's Shiai kendo, that's grading kendo. I don't agree with those principles. They're just different strategies and different approaches to the interactions with your opponent. Next one. How about this? I'm sure we've all seen photos of various senseis from earlier days where the men himo is threaded not through the top gap. I'll pop the picture there. Like that. What are your thoughts on that? I don't know. I haven't really seen it that much, to be honest. It's not the official way to do it. I don't see the benefit of doing it that way, so I don't really see why you wouldn't just put it through the top one, unless you just wanted to be different. Maybe some people find it more comfortable that way. I've never tried it. I just like to put it through the top. So I don't really have massive thoughts on it either way. Okay, I'm in isolation in my city and my apartment has low ceilings. How is the best way to do suburi in Seiza? Okay, you can do most of your suburi. You can't do jogeburi and stuff, obviously, but you can sit in Seiza and you can do most of the suburi without moving your feet. And also you can do lots of the footwork practices without swinging the shinai. So you can do both the footwork and the swinging of the shinai separately. Okay. You could do that. You can also practice without shinai, even just with swinging still. If I pop that paperwork down there, I can still mem, and try to use my imagination to do that, okay? The thing I can do is I could sit down on a chair. Don't have to be in Seiza. I can sit down in a chair and do, right? I think I told the story before of a girl that was part of one of the Kendo club that my daughter started at that broke her ankle. She still came to the dojo 3 times a week, sat in a chair doing suburi. Okay, so you can still do that. Okay, next one. I have a body form at home that I use as a dummy. I dressed it up with an old kendogi men and do, but it doesn't have kote. What routine do you suggest I should do to make the most of this during lockdown? Practice men strikes. Practice men strikes. Try to develop tenuchi. Try to put into practice the points for suburi. Okay, I put the video up yesterday, points to concentrate when doing suburi. It's not just for suburi, those points. Those points exist for when you're making strikes as well. So put those points into practice when you're striking your practice dummy. Also, how do you find people who seem so knowledgeable about Kendo, but yet can't show by example? That's not uncommon at all. Just because you might, some of the best teachers in the world aren't necessarily successful competitors themselves. Of course, they're skilled at Kendo. Of course they are. But it doesn't mean that, like some of the teachers of the top schools in Japan, the top high schools in Japan, for example, they weren't all Japan champions. Being a good Kendo teacher, understanding the theory, understanding how to improve or help or provide the environment for improvement, and being a good competitor are two completely different things, two completely different skills. So it's quite rare actually that you find someone who's a really good competitor that's also really good at teaching. It's quite rare. Sometimes they can't empathize with students that struggle, because for them it came quite naturally. So I don't think it's such an unusual thing at all, and I don't think you can. I think it's quite rare that you find somebody that's not able to show by example, though. But what you have to also understand is there's different. There's not like. How can I explain this in a way that makes sense? Okay, so let's say we get a 35-year-old 6th Dan Japanese policeman to demonstrate men kaishido, and then we get a 85-year-old Hanshi 8th Dan to demonstrate men kaishido. You're going to get two completely different men kaishido, but two excellent men kaishido. Yeah. The good examples don't always look the same, but the physical aspects might look different, vastly different even, but the core elements of what constitutes the waza as a yuko datotsu, which is a waza being the technique and the yuko datotsu being a valid strike, are actually the same. Okay, they're actually the same. It's just the exterior execution of it looks a bit different, or a lot different sometimes. Okay, obviously because there's differences in age, experience, different ways of making the seme or the hikidashi, that's the getting the opponent to attack. Different ways to apply that, of course, applies different with experience and age and stuff like that. It doesn't mean though that like, oh, the 35-year-old 6th Dan policeman's waza looks faster and more dynamic. That means it's better. It doesn't mean that at all. Because you could put that, if you put that guy against the 8th Dan, 85-year-old 8th Dan, he's still going to get whooped, for the most part. Okay, next one. And this is the last one. Do people ever take a sports analytics approach to Kendo, such as tracking player tendencies towards men, kote, etc.? And if not, how do the police recruit kendoka? Is it solely based on winning competitions? So there's a few different things there. Yeah, there is definitely a sports analytic approach to Kendo that I think a lot of teachers employ, especially at the high school level. I know lots of high school teachers that will make sure they record the results of every Shiai. I've even been in high school dojos where they have a almost like not a leaderboard, but they have all the players' stats up on the wall. How many Shiai they've done, how many they won, how many they won with men, kote, do, tsuki, how many they lost to men, kote, do, tsuki, their percentage of wins, percentage of losses, percentage of draws. But that's, there's a lot. Yeah, that data is definitely something that I think lots of teachers use. However, I don't think any of them exclusively use that. I think there's a lot of things that they have to draw from as well. Of course, that data is something they consider, but the actual sort of idiosyncrasies of each individual player, the funny thing about Kendo is you could get somebody that's won 100 matches in a row and is an absolute monster on the Shiaijo, and then you just find one person that you put them up against and they just can't beat him. They just can't beat him. It just doesn't gel. Yeah. There's stuff like that that coaches and teachers consider. So it's not just a case of looking at analytics and data. No way is it. And in terms of how the police recruit kendoka, I wouldn't say it's solely based on winning competitions, but I'd say it's certainly based on a pattern of performance in competitions. It doesn't, I guess it's not necessary. I mean, I'm not privy to any of this information. I'm just speculating because I've never spoken to anybody who's in charge of recruiting police kendoka. Well, that's probably not true. I'm sure I have actually, but I haven't spoken to them about how they do that. So I'm speculating here, right? But I'm sure it's in the same way as every other step, in that they look at the whole picture, what kind of player they are, how that player will fit into the team, or the aspirations they've got for the team they want to build going forward, not simply just the matches. Oh, okay, because somebody might, like, because they're going to go into the police usually after the university. They might be really good at the university level, but you look at them and you think, well, I'm not sure they're going to really, that's not necessarily going to carry over into the world of police kendo. That kind of kendo, it works for university, but it's not necessarily going to carry across. And there's other things they've got to consider as well. I mean, these guys are going to be police officers, all right? So they've got to be the right, they've got to meet the right criteria for becoming police officers in general. There's tests, there's interviews, they've got to be, they've got to pass exams and stuff like that as well. So there's that too. Okay, so that's it. That's all the questions for today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it was informative. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, join the Kendo Show Early Access group, and of course, shop at KendoStar. That's what pays for this all. And it's amazing. 5 stars on Trustpilot. We're the only one with it. Get to KendoStar.com now. Thanks a lot for watching. See you all next time. Bye-bye.